Check out
Darksydephil the lolcow
in Phil of the Future next.
Yeah. Derek, good luck on your driving test tomorrow.
In Life with Derek.
To be frank, it would be great to get some kick support today. And what I mean by that is yesterday, there was a distinct lacking of kick support. The people who usually come by and support weren't around. They had actually been around the day before, but yesterday, none of them were around. So what ended up happening was we did get some good support on YouTube and some good tips, but 2 subs all day long on kick. And we didn't hit any of our goals. You know, it takes a variety of support from various different audiences. And some days we do great. Some days we hit the goal and it's no problem at all. And then other days, like yesterday, like, wow, I got 100 people plus watching me over on Kick and no one's supporting. It's kind of weird and suspect. So if you're watching on Kick today and you like the content, please support it. Don't be like Buckwell and his cataracts and pretend like you can't see and say that the game is ugly and then say, oh, I can't donate because I'm blind. Don't do that. Instead, actually support the stream by becoming a sub or maybe gifting some subs over on Kick to see your fellow viewer. All right? That would be very nice of you. And I'll give you a shout out if you do. Now, today, as I said over the last week since I've been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, we have special animations. If you do a $20 tip, a $20 super chat on YouTube, or if you gift 4 subs over on Kick, also, the equivalent of that would be 7 gifted memberships on YouTube. So any of those things, if you do them, I will play a special animation for you that has both a cool animation, the dancing banana with my face on it, but also a sound effect. And depending on how you do it, like the super chat has one sound effect, but the other stuff will have a different sound effect. Okay? So thanks in advance to anyone who supports the streams. I appreciate you. All right? In fact, we're getting some support right now. Thank you so much for that. I would say let's, at the very least, let's get halfway to the goal by the end of the podcast. That way, it's a lot easier going through Death Stranding 2 to hit that goal. We want to get that momentum back. We actually had insane momentum earlier this week. We hit the 70 goal, and then we had 6 more goals hit within 2 days. That's nuts. Okay, that's absolutely crazy. Then we faltered yesterday. But let's get back on track. For this DSP tries it, MLB big league bites. We will do that as soon as we hit 80 goals hit. So the sooner, the better. We could do it today if we hit 80 goals. We could do it tomorrow if we hit 80 goals. We could do it Friday. Or we could do it Sunday, Monday, whenever we hit 80 goals. All right? So please, let's get some support going and flowing. Let's get that momentum going. Thanks for the early support here. I appreciate you. All right. As you guys can see, there are tons of people in chat who would like a membership, right? They're just sitting there waiting for it and they're not getting it. So hopefully those get given out, right? It says underneath they got handed out. It does? Where? Oh, one went to... Oh, so you know what happened? YouTube broke it. I'm 100% correct. YouTube broke it because when I look at my feed, it doesn't show that it went to anyone. I'm clicking on... Yeah, there's no notification for them anymore. So YouTube broke it. They changed something. So now no notifications will go out for gifted memberships. I can't even play a notification for a gifted membership because YouTube changed it. Okay, we're good here. We worked it all out. So thanks for the early support. Thanks for the early momentum. Let's please keep that going. Let's, like I said, by the end of the podcast, let's aim to hit halfway to our goal. So let's try to get $75 of support by the end of the podcast. That way we only have to do another 75 while we're playing Death Stranding 2. It'll make it a lot easier. All right? And let's get that momentum going. Let's get back to hitting goals. That way we can do ESP tries it, the MLB Big League bites, hopefully by the end of the week. Okay? Cool. Guess what? People are going to buy it regardless of the price. And that's exactly what happened. Mario Kart World was released half finished for exorbitantly expensive pricing, even though it didn't have the features in it to warrant said pricing. But everyone bought it because we all wanted this original first-party game at the launch of Switch 2. It literally was a ripoff, and Nintendo knew exactly what they were doing, and they don't care. Because here's the truth, everyone. Nintendo doesn't care about you. Did you hear what I just said? Nintendo, the company, does not care about you. It doesn't matter what you think or this fanboy mentality that you may be a part of and this weird cultish-like following that Nintendo has. That, oh wait, but they always release good games. What about the amiibos? What about the... Nintendo does not care about the common consumer whatsoever. You want to know what Nintendo cares about? Money. Just like any other corporation, all they care about is making profits. They don't care about the quality. They don't care about anything. Seriously, all they want is to make money. They said that the online play was different, but actually the online play is unfinished. Do you notice there's no uproar in the gaming community about it though? Because it's Nintendo. Because Nintendo has this weird fan base of obsessed cult-like people who no matter what Nintendo does, they can do no wrong. I don't care that you sold me a half-finished game for more money than every other game because you're Nintendo and I love you. You can't do anything wrong. Everything's always good with Nintendo, right? No. I'm sorry, but the modern gaming landscape is different. There's a lot of competition out there. PC, PlayStation, Xbox, all of these handheld things now, the ROG Ally and all this. There's a lot of ways you can play games. You don't need to buy the Switch 2 to get a family-friendly experience anymore. You can actually get that on other platforms now. So Nintendo should be forced to justify the purchase of the Switch 2 at $450 and an $80 purchase of this flagship title. They've done nothing to do that, yet people still bought it in droves. Do you see the problem here? If consumerism's attitude doesn't change, if people don't stop spending on things that are inferior or mediocre, there will never be incentive for a company like Nintendo to ever do better for you. Do you think Nintendo would ever release something like Nintendo Game Pass? No! Why on earth would they do that? You're spending $80 for an unfinished Mario Kart. Why would they do a Nintendo Game Pass where they give you new games for a subscription? Are you out of your mind? Of course they're never going to do that. But that's because you reward mediocrity, okay? All of a sudden, in your corner of your screen, it'll say, you're in third place, fourth place. But as you approach the gate, it disappears. Then you drive through the gate. The game takes about half a second to figure it out. And then all of a sudden, the game will tell you whether or not you qualified. And then after another half a second, your ranking will appear again. If the game didn't lag, why would it need to erase your ranking, try to compute where you are, and then tell you later? It would just keep you in that place. But it actually doesn't know because it lags. It actually has to think for a second, and it has to look at all of its calculations to see where you are and figure it out and then tell you later. So for a split second, it actually exposes the fact that it has a lot of lag, but then it goes back to hiding it by having everything go in real time. This is actually the most dishonest I've ever seen. What a joke. But no one's talking about it. Why? Because everyone already moved on to Donkey Kong Bonanza. And that was Nintendo's plan all along. Release this game as the launch title, and then before anyone has a chance to figure out what's going on, move on to the next exclusive so everyone will be done with it and no one will care. It's marketing genius and it's business 101, but gamers are too ignorant to figure this out. Well, I'm not. I played for 20 hours and I can tell you, game's bad. Sorry, it just is. They got away with it. So if you've been waiting, is this a system seller? No. You do not need a Switch 2 just to play Mario Kart. You'll be done in 3 to 4 hours and you will be absolutely bored. Okay? So my final thoughts on Mario Kart World. It was a fun romp for 20 hours. I got my money's worth out of it as a content creator, but value for the dollar for the average consumer is not there. $80 is insanely overpriced for what they've put together. Nintendo has successfully pulled the wool over everyone's eyes, making this a launch title that everyone's already forgotten about. The game is an absolute ripoff, and you shouldn't waste $80 on it unless you are the most hardcore, die-hard Mario Kart fan. This is a skip. But here's the worst part all about it, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for this one? Even though you already paid $80 plus tax to play this game, In a year's time, Nintendo will release DLC. And they're going to charge you $30 to $40 for it. Even though you already paid more than the game was worth at launch, they are not going to give you free DLC. They're going to nickel and dime you again for more content that should have been present in the launch of the game. I don't know what else to say. It's that simple. Nintendo has lost their way. Nintendo used to be better than this, but this is now their business strategy. What it is that people are so blindly following Nintendo that they just buy everything. So even though you already got ripped off, in a year, it's like Stockholm Syndrome. I'll just buy again. I'll spend more. Why are you spending more? You already got ripped off. Well, I got to spend more anyway. It's Nintendo. Then Nintendo will never change. Nintendo will never improve if you continue to reward their scamming nature and the mediocrity of what they're putting out in the modern day. It didn't used to be like this. Nintendo always used to go the extra mile. They made sure that their first-party titles had tons of content, polish, and attention, and quality. Remember the Nintendo seal of quality? It used to mean something. Now, it's a joke. Even the first-party titles look nice, but outside of that, there's just no substance, and that's sad. In 2025, Nintendo has essentially become a company that coasts. And they used to be the innovators in gaming. They used to be synonymous with greatness. When you didn't used to say, I want to play a video game. You say, I'm going to go play Nintendo. Do you say that today? No, because Nintendo has been the company that coasts on their previous laurels and doesn't put in the effort to earn your dollar, but you keep spending it. Mario Kart World is a ripoff. I don't recommend it unless you're a hardcore fan, but you're probably going to buy it anyway because no one listens. Someone tipped $1.23 and says, so Nintendo is like every other greedy gaming corporation that releases half-finished games on launch day. Thanks for the insightful review. Yes, they are, but the difference here is that no one acknowledges it. Almost everyone acknowledges now that the big game companies like Bethesda, Ubisoft, they're all doing this, but no one acknowledges that Nintendo is doing it. Have you heard anyone else say what I just said and actually present evidence like I just did? Everyone just kissed the game's butt and then moves on to the next Nintendo game. I'm the only one you're going to get honesty from because I have no stake in the game. I don't need to kiss Nintendo's butt because I'm not worried they're not going to provide me another content piece of game. You know, I didn't get Mario Kart for free. I'm not getting there. I'm paying for it like you, like a consumer. So I don't care if Nintendo doesn't like me. I have no incentive to lie. But that's why you're never going to get this kind of honesty from anyone else because they're all playing the game, right? They want to be in good graces with all these game devs. So they're always going to kiss butt and they're going to tell it not like it is, but how they want you to hear it so that you're just complacent and you keep spending. Not me. I'll tell you like it is. I received a $2 tip. The reason Mario Kart has no points or ranking system, yes, it does. It has points. It has point system. It doesn't have any purpose to it, but it has a point system. Your statement's already wrong. It's because Mario Kart has never been a competitive game. It's a party game to mess around on. That's also wrong. There have been several tournaments and tournament circuits for Mario Kart. Back in the day, remember I just mentioned the Mario Kart and Nintendo DS? There was a whole tournament circuit for it, and it ended at EVO. EVO Fighting Game Championships actually had a Mario Kart tournament at it. You don't know what you're talking about. The focus has never been about driving skill. It's about screwing people over with items. At least that's how it was when I played the other games with my friends. That's why Mario Kart has never had an official tournament or competitive scene. That's incorrect. If people want competitive skill-based driving, they go to Gran Turismo or Forza. That may be true, but what you're saying is wrong, just so you know. And just because, all right, it doesn't have it now doesn't mean it shouldn't have it. If all of your competition has it, if every game with competitive online play, fighting games, shooters, hell, even RTS games, sports games, if they all have tiers and ranking systems and incentive to get good, why not put that into your modern game that you're charging more money than all of your competition? Doesn't it make sense that you should at least have the same features as your competitors if you're charging more? But they don't. They have a point system that literally does nothing. It's completely worthless. I rest my case. Thanks for $2. I received a $3 tip. I find the best way to win Knockout Tour is to stay in the middle. First place is always absolutely bombarded with items in Knockout Tour. That's fair enough. I will agree with you there. But does that make sense? Does it make sense that in a game with competitive racing, the goal is not to be the best competitive racer? I'll be like, well, in a fighting game, the goal isn't to be the best player and defeat your opponent by reducing their HP. The goal is just to sit on super meter nonstop. Wait, what? It doesn't make sense. It's bad game design. And again, I kind of rest my case here. I do think that the game should be better and that it's not as good as it should be. I got a $1 tip. Someone through the book says, you claim to not be a sucker, but you nearly bought 2 Switches and have bought every big Nintendo game. Okay. I'm sorry, but I have to respond to you in the most matter-of-fact way that I can. You are an ignorant fool because I am not a standard gamer or consumer. I'm a content creator. You understand? I bought Switch 2 for $40. I bought Mario Kart for $80. I spent $100 but so far, in every time I Switch 2, I've all down already. I've done several streams of Mario Kart World Last $100. I've made all this content. I will make even more content. Do you not understand the difference between someone who made an investment because they're going to make tons of money on the content versus the average consumer? When I'm reviewing these games, I'm reviewing them for you, not for me. How do you not understand that? Why would you make what you're saying makes no sense at all? It's logically stupid, what you just said. I'm not an average person who I come home from work or school and I didn't pop on my game console to relax. It's actually my job to cover these things, to analyze them in this way so that you know if it makes sense for you to get it. What don't you understand? Why would you even say that unless you're ignorant? Okay. Continuing on. I got a $1.07 tip. It's a troll. Thanks for the money, dummy. All right. I received an incredibly generous $110 tip.
I need banana, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana.
And one more time.
I need banana, tasty banana.
Very nice. So thank you to, that's a great way to bounce back from yesterday. That is for sure. Thank you so very much. We're now at 77 out of 80 goals hit. At 80 goals, it is the next episode of DSP Tries It. Ball or MLB Ballpark Bites or whatever it's called. Should be a good one. Should be a very unique and interesting one. Thank you so much to Insanely Generous. Thank you to everyone else because we're at around a third of the way to the goal when we hit that. So now, we are now in prime position to possibly hit not 1, but 2 goals on this stream. And if we do, that means we're in the home stretch to hit 80 goals, and DSP Tries It this week. So thank you, guys. Let's keep it going, and thank you for your support. I just received another tip, by the way. $2. The thing about Nintendo, though, is that they pay their employees well and hire a lot. I cannot argue there. 100%, zillion percent. I will say, even though Nintendo seems to treat the consumer bad, they absolutely do treat their company well and their employees well. And it's sad to say in 2025 that we have to judge the quality of a game company not on the quality of the games they put out, but on how they treat their employees. Because in general, these companies are treating their employees so freaking badly, right? Like, sad to think that, but it's true. Most of these companies are laying employees off, closing divisions, slashing the budgets, and screwing everyone over. At least Nintendo is doing right by their employees there. I can't fault them for that. You're right. So you're the only person who speaks out about Nintendo. There's plenty of non-Nintendo fan streamers, maybe the only person you know. Well, I'm telling you, when you look on social media, all right, when you take a look at these things, I'm serious, almost no one complains about Nintendo games. There's a few, but for the most part, people just kiss Nintendo's butt nonstop. Like, nonstop. There's people literally saying Donkey Kong Bonanza is the best game Nintendo has put out in over a decade. And they're actually saying Mario Kart World is the best Mario Kart game they've ever made. You can't even look at a factual, objective basis and say those things. You could say you love the games, that's fine. But on an objective basis, you can't even argue those things, but they do. They are this unstoppable fanboy force that everything Nintendo does is always the best and everything else is bad. It's unreal. Other companies do exactly the same things Nintendo do, and everyone destroys them, criticizes them, slams them. But the Nintendo does it. Oh, that's a good thing. I'm glad they did that. I don't get it. Okay? And when we come back, I'm going to hook up my PS5 Pro and we're going to begin. But in the meantime, please just enjoy these quick highlight clips, and then I'll be back with Death Stranding 2. All right, enjoy.
Oh my god! Oh, this is disgusting. He's fucking me. Oh, he's fucking me. Oh my god! This is revolting.
Hey, don't go away. Life with Derek is next.
Then
I can't like unfuck her sister.
and sister.
So, but why is it in my forum? It has nothing to do with it.